Hey, we are now live. Welcome to What's Good with Gil and Larry. I'll be Larry. This is October, and this is my man Gil. I'm sorry, y'all. Today is January 10th, 2024. It's a lot of things on the slate today. A lot of things on the slate today. So I want to get to it, man. First and foremost, we're going to talk about that tremendous win. That tremendous win. The win that we knew it was going. I didn't know it was going to win by that much,
Me
but
neither.
we knew the style of play was going to be like that. We just knew it. We just knew it. And that's Michigan Wolverines. Congratulations to the Harborough man. He capped undefeated season. They dominated Washington on both sides of the ball for the most part, especially with the run game. The run game was just once again. I thought that was going to be the plan, and I felt like, and we talked about in our last show. That's why y'all need to tune in to What's Good with Gil and Larry, because we gave y'all the game plan. Literally, we tell you that was going to be a defensive, physical game, that they were going to dominate for us when it came to the run game, and that they were going to be able defensively to limit what Washington does with the receivers, because you got to be physical. To beat a finesse team, you got to be physical. And that's how Michigan was all year, especially coming out the Big Ten. It's a physical conference, and it's stamped as a physical conference. So to see him tap it off, and like we always talked about, right? Once you go to extreme adversity, and that's just a life lesson. When you go through extreme adversity, before you hit your greatest moment, you're probably gonna go to your most extreme adversity, because it's a breaking point. When you go through life, you're going through breaking points in life. You always get to a point where you're destined for greatness. You're going to go through the most turmoil right before that moment, because it's determined, are you ready for this moment? Because it's much more satisfying, in my opinion, when you go through extreme adversity and you get that victory, finally get over that hump. You ever have that team you just couldn't beat, or that moment you could never capture? So when you capture, it's just that much more sweet. And we got many teams that we could go back for, and they've been at that extreme moment where they couldn't beat a certain moment or adversary. But when they conquer that adversary, like Bulls and Pistons, yeah, the championship was great, but to beat the Pistons, they get to the championship. They felt they already won the chip, because we already beat the team that we just couldn't figure out. And I felt the same with John Harbaugh. He was always at that moment. He built this program up to get to a certain point, and they could never get over the hump. And I thought Alabama was that moment, because they couldn't beat Alabama. They couldn't figure Saban out. And they took them to the brink. And what happened? They found a way to win in OT. So congratulations once again to Michigan. And great game. My opinion, you already know. We already talked about this, bro. John Harbaugh's out. He's definitely going to the NFL.
Jim.
I'm sorry, Jim. I always get him and the brother confused. Both of them great coaches, by the way. Great coaches. But yes, Jim Harbaugh is definitely going up to the upper level. And I'm curious about where he's going to go. We already said we don't believe it's the Chargers, because the money. They're not going to pay the man what he deserves. So, what's your opinions on that beautiful game on Monday night?
Well, yeah, like you said, we called it. We said if Michigan imposes their will with the physicality, that game, it doesn't matter what the score is, they are going to be the front runners. They're going to dictate the pace. I did not see it being a lopsided score like it turned out to be, but I thought that if they were in control physicality wise, if they weren't in a track meet with Washington, it was going to go their way. It did go their way. Congratulations to the Michigan Wolverines. Congratulations to Jim Harbaugh. How about being part of the Harbaugh family? How about their father, Jack? Check this out. Jack coached under Bo Schembechler, okay, at Michigan. They bring in his son, Jim Harbaugh. He becomes the quarterback. Fast forward later, you get the two brothers, John Harbaugh coaching the Ravens, Jim Harbaugh coaching the 49ers, meeting up in the Super Bowl. John wins that one in a close one. Jim winds up leaving, going to Michigan, restoring his alma mater, wins the championship, beats Ohio State, which was their rival, which wasn't a rival because Ohio State really kind of owned them for a couple decades. Now Michigan has won the last 3 times, tops it off with the championship this year. I mean, who's got it better than the Harbaughs?
Nobody.
Nobody. I mean, for
Nobody.
real, they're Jack Harbaugh has got to be loving life. He's got
Oh
to be
yeah.
sitting back on the
Oh yeah.
chair, and he's like, man,
Top of the
my
world.
boys did it, man. They did it. They did it.
Yeah.
So congratulations to them and the Wolverines getting over the hump. Yeah, I mean, I think Jim Harbaugh is going to take a little time before he makes a decision. He kind of likes to grandstand a little bit without saying it. I hope he doesn't hold any of these NFL teams hostage. Some of these teams, a lot of them have already moved on from head coaches, but a couple we're not sure about. We're not sure about what let's say New England's going to do.
Yeah.
We're not sure about, let's say, Las Vegas is going to do, even though they've already moved on from their head coach. Are they going to keep the interim coach,
right,
Antonio Pierce? Or are they going to move on from that? I'll tell you what. Oh, I hate to say it. Maybe I don't hate to say it. There's two franchises. One's got an awful owner, and the other one had an awful owner. Had an awful owner, but now they cleaned that up.
Yeah.
What about Harbaugh either going to Washington with the new ownership, or I can't believe I'm going to say this. What about Carolina? Do you think I could see Carolina, that owner Tepper, giving him everything he wants? Now the thing about Tepper is he's not patient.
So
he's gonna want to see results in 2 years.
Exactly, which is unrealistic, even for Jim Harbaugh. I wouldn't personally want to be enough underneath the gun like that. You know what I mean? Seriously, if I want to build a championship program or franchise, it's going to take time, and I need to have patient owners. And as you can see, these people are not patient at all. So I'm trying to see the allure. What's the allure? It ain't the market. It's not like a major market that you're going to, right? I think you have a better shot in DC because of the historic history. If you're a history guy, going back to the Joe Gibbs and then back in that time to rebuild that back to glory, and then you're coming out the NFC East, the beast, right? That's semi alluring, right? But I just
Carolina's division is easier.
It is. I mean, he could definitely dominate it if you're looking for an easy way in. I mean, there's no challenge down there. I don't see none of them teams being great next year. I just don't. With the current staff, coaching wise, personnel, I don't see it. So yeah, that way it probably would be a good fit just there. But man, that Vegas job is definitely alluring. I would say the Chargers, but we already spoke about that. They don't want to pay
money. Yeah,
money.
It's gonna have to be a place where he gets big money. Michigan already offered him $125 million, and he hasn't said yes to that. So it's going to be big money. It's going to be power, because he wound up leaving San Francisco because he and the GM weren't getting along. So he needs to at least be president of player personnel. The GM can handle the numbers and the contracts. He wants to be able to pick his players. He doesn't want somebody else to pick a player that he doesn't want, and he doesn't want to give away a player that he wants to keep.
Well, when we get to our segment of the coaches firing and the Black Monday rather, then maybe it's a couple franchises that have some vacancies that we could discuss, that we kind of weigh the pros and cons and see if that's a good fit for Jim Harbaugh. All right. Moving on, right?
Your boy Ja
Morant. It just felt like it wasn't too long ago when we was talking about how his return to the NBA was the greatest return. If you want to return under no conditions, now we're talking about he's done for the year. He's getting surgery. He tore his shoulder. He's getting surgery. Man, just bad beat break for the Memphis Grizzlies, man. If they look like they got resuscitated, they got some life breathed back into them, just to have the plug pulled on them, man. Because I really don't see it happening. I don't. I don't. If I'm grading, I'm looking at the teams that's competitive right now. That's we're at the midway point of the NBA, and I'm looking at who's the pretenders and who's are the contenders. And it's just going to be a long road for Memphis to scrape back into that 10th spot. That's the spot that you're shooting for, is the 10th spot, the play-in games, and hopefully you can make it and do some miracles with the play-in games. But I just don't see it. I don't see it. Unfortunately, I think when you start the season off the way you start the season off, you lost your star player for 25 games for conduct, a disciplinary conduct, right? You never got a mojo going with this veteran group of people you brought in. You brought in Marcus Smart, you brought in Derrick Rose, you brought in all these pieces that just not complementary to what you already had. You lost some people. We could talk about Dylan Brooks. You can talk all you want, but I felt he was a glue guy. Dylan Brooks to me was a glue guy. Down, I'm saying he's in Houston. They're winning. I mean, they have a good coach out there in Houston, but they're winning. He gives you a presence. He don't give you the scoring threat. And I get it. He wanted more, a bigger role in offense and things of that nature. So I get the distraction part, but he is a glue guy to me. He's a guy who's going to give you that grit, play some defense. You need them type of people on your team. My personal opinion. That's what I think. It's a bad beat for him, man. And now you lost your star player for the rest of the year, and you're already at the bottom of the Western Conference. It's going to be a battle to even try to be amongst the contenders. I just don't see it happening this year for Memphis.
No
you
way.
lost Steven Adams. It's not happening this year.
Yeah,
so
no.
I just feel bad for that franchise but then that's what you get when you become. It's a humbling experience, in my opinion. You can't be talking this championship talk if you can't get over the hump. Yeah, you got a good team. You possibly have a great team, but then y'all start really eating the hype. Y'all talking about we ain't worried about the West and stuff like that. Y'all done been into that stuff, that soundbite stuff. So until you prove yourself, let your game be your mouthpiece, not your mouthpiece be your mouthpiece. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Not much I can add to that. Yeah, but I am not a Dylan Brooks fan, but I see what you're saying, because he's kind of like, he's not the heart of a team, but he's kind of like the soul of a team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And kind of like how Dennis Rodman was to the Bulls.
Yeah.
I don't like guys that do a whole lot of talking and really haven't really backed it up. I mean, they were hot. They had young energy. They were on the up and up, the cusp. But don't talk like you've already been there when you haven't been there. I mean, they used to go back and forth, jarring at the Lakers with LeBron, jarring at Golden State with Draymond and Steph and Clay. I mean, these are proven champions. These are the face of the league. Now, I think John Morant is on his way. I hope he can hold up. I don't like him getting injuries like this. This wasn't during a game. This was during practice. He's got that thin frame.
Yeah.
We talked about it. He reminds me of
TJ Ford out of Texas.
From the Texas Longhorns. That just worries me. Who did he play for in the NBA? Was it Milwaukee?
Did TJ Ford play for Milwaukee, or was it Toronto?
I don't think it was Toronto. I think it was Milwaukee.
Was it?
I think so. I don't think it was Toronto.
That's a good
question. I don't think so. I think it was Milwaukee, but we can look that up. So I'm disappointed, because I like to see there's clearly a changing of the guard happening. Golden State is on their way out.
Yes.
The Lakers, after their in-season tournament, haven't shown me much. They're going to make the playoffs, but they're not Denver.
Definitely,
that's for sure. No. I don't think they beat Phoenix. There's a couple that I think they're going to. Was I right? Was Milwaukee?
Milwaukee. Yep, you're right. Milwaukee, a draft from Milwaukee Bucks. Sure was. Yep.
So, yeah, and he was a good player for it, man. But he got hurt. He wound up hurting his spine.
Mhm.
And I see John Morant, and he's built the same way. I mean, a little taller, a little more athletic for sure. But then again, he takes more chances, and he's going to go up against the trees,
Mhm.
trying to get to the rim, and that's going to put him in harm's way a little more. I hope. It's funny, we were talking about it because a few years ago when he was entering the draft, he was number 2, and I thought, a little thin, and
Yeah.
Zion was number 1, and I'm like, oh, a little thick. Little
Yeah.
thick, and
Okay.
both have been true. Now the difference is, I think John Morant is a warrior.
Oh,
I
for
think
sure.
he's got the mentality of a killer, straight up killer,
Yeah.
assassin, tiger.
Yeah. I love
I
it.
don't think Zion has that at all, because Zion got cleared last year to play, and he wouldn't do it.
Mm-mm.
He wouldn't come back. He
Mm-mm.
said, I'm a
And
little hesitant. I don't know if I can. If he was talking in third person, I don't know if Zion could be Zion. You know what I
yeah.
mean? I mean, if you really want to play, if it's in your blood, you go out there, you
See,
test that leg. You're like,
yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm still getting paid anyway. Okay, that's
Okay.
all I needed to know.
So now
That's
you
all
got,
I need.
and I think that's because once again you got two different paths to the NBA. Zion has been labeled a phenom, an exceptional freak of nature since he was in high school. He was a highlight reel. He was a viral moment. He was dunking on everybody. So when you got everybody giving you everything underneath the sun, you went to Duke. And even in Duke, he wasn't, you
He
know,
had the former president come see him play, Barack
exactly.
Obama.
Yes. So when you got all that attention, all that buzz, all that hype, it goes to your head, and you
Of
young. Like he's
course,
getting it at
of
16,
course.
17. That's why I admire LeBron, because that shows you just kind of how much he loved the game, how much his work ethic was, and what he took and brought to the game. Because he was getting the same press and not more at 16. He was the
Mm-hmm.
chosen one. When Michael Jordan was in the league, can you see? You know what I'm saying? He was the chosen one. Mike was on the end cap, but still,
Mm-hmm.
Kobe was in the league. It was his league, and all them people, right? And they were saying this was the future, the king, the chosen, the Messiah, whatever you want to call it, right?
And the next one.
The next one. And he was able to take that, swallow ego, pride, and know that I have a lot to work on to get to this NBA level. And while I'm in the NBA level, I want to make my name known and submit my legacy. So he's been chasing greatness and been adapting to greatness his whole life since we known of it, right? Whereas Zion, it's hard, man, to kind of bring the ego down and say I haven't earned it yet. I haven't earned it yet. Even in Duke, he wasn't like aggressive, like warrior mentality. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't the number one guy on that team. Where RJ Barrett came out as the number one player that year out of
Mm-hmm.
Toronto. He was in Canada, right? So
Mm-hmm.
on that team, yes, Zion was the most explosive player, but at times he wasn't giving you that, this is mine, I'm taking over the game type of thing.
Right.
John
No,
Morant, he put a no-name school on the map. A no-name school on the map.
it did.
Okay. He wasn't the guy that the college happened to stumble upon him in the gym looking at another guy. So they wasn't looking for John Morant. John
Mm-hmm.
Morant just did his thing and became known. Okay. He took Murray State, bro, as a high seed in the tournament. And he showed out the first 2 games, showed out. Put the
Mm-hmm.
stock on, let the nation know that I'm that guy. Okay. So you come into the league with that chip because you wasn't that guy. So that warrior, that hunger, that desire was there, And I always say when people get the money, man, it make you funny, man. Man, every time we talk about the money, not the passion of the game, we talk about the money. Money will corrupt you, man. When they say money is the root of all evil, it is not money itself. It's just the thought and what the money can do. How it could change, not you, but everybody around you. And then you have to have a super strong structure around you to keep you humble enough to know that, okay, I have to earn this money, invest this money, work this money, because if I don't, this money can make me go crazy. Okay? And that's what I think it is, man. I think that warrior in him was always going to be there. But for him to have a legacy, for him to be stamped as one of the greatest to do it, because that's what I would want. Once I get my money, man, I want to be known as the greatest. I know I got money, so we ain't got to worry about that. We straight.
Right.
He got to change his game. He's going to have to adapt. He's going to have to learn how to hit that mid-range more. He's going to have to be like how Michael Jordan, when he started getting older, he started to really utilize moves and big game and use his body. Not, Mike was a junker. He was a leaper. But then the game
Oh yeah.
changed. LeBron, the game has changed. Yeah, he can still dunk
Mhm.
on you, but he had to develop certain other parts of his game. Kobe, other parts of the game. The great ones make adjustments. You know what I mean?
100%.
So that we got to see.
Jordan, not to cut you off, but Jordan, when he won his first 3 championships, he was like the most athletic guy probably on the court, pretty much. And he used his game around that ability. When he came back after the first retirement, he changed his game, but he was still the best player. He was older, but he was now he went to the fadeaway.
Yep,
Now he went to the post up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And he built up his body to be even stronger, so he didn't depend on the athleticism.
Yep.
Now he changed his game to be a post up, shooter versus a
highlight slash guy. Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah.
And like you said, a strength conditioning, major part. I know the guys I know John Moran works on a lot of the athletic stuff, but you got to dedicate yourself to that weight room too, man. That's what made Dennis Rodman such a freak, because he was in that weight room. Like he just had a motor. You know what I mean? He had a motor. He could run, party, and still and ball. So
I heard when at the end of Rodman's career, remember when he went to the Dallas Mavericks for like 10 minutes?
Yeah.
I heard Dirk Nowitzki on the what is that? All That Smoke podcast.
All That Smoke. Yep, All the Smoke. Yep.
And he was talking about Rodman, and he was so they would all come in to watch film. Rodman would be the last one to show up. As soon as they would start watching film, Rodman would get up and take a shower.
Yep.
Okay. Come back, then practice with the team, not watch film. They would do a game. After the game, him and his personal trainer would start lifting heavy weights when the game was over. And they would lift for like an hour and a half hard.
You're hard.
Then when he was done working out, didn't take a shower, put on his clothes, and went out to the clubs or the casino.
Yeah.
And he didn't shower again till the next day when he showed up and they were getting ready to watch film. That's when he took a shower.
Yeah. So you imagine what chicks he was with.
And listen, you can't say nothing, because that guy lived a party life, probably still does, was with a whole lot of the ladies.
Yep.
So whatever was working was working. That's not how I would do it, because I am I'm into cleanliness and hygiene.
Yeah, me too.
But hey, man, it worked for him. He's one of those guys that would walk into a restaurant with flip-flops and sweatpants on, and it would be $2,000 a plate, and he would walk in like he just rolled out of bed. Like that would just be
that was his way.
That was his way.
That was his way.
So can't hate the player, man.
And I want to bring up something for you real quick, right?
Yeah.
Because we're at the midway point. We're about to get to the All-Star game with the NBA soon, right? And this is, the first half is almost over. So the first half to me is always more just about pacing yourself and just putting yourself in position to make a push for the second half, So I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to run through these teams real quick to tell and see, will these teams be at the end of the finish line when it comes to playoff time, or will they falter, and who will replace the ones you think that will falter? Okay. All right. I'm just going to go who the current standings as we speaking right now. Okay. All right. Now in the East, your current 10 teams that's holding position in the East are the Boston Celtics at number 1. You got the Milwaukee Bucks at number 2. You got Philly at 3 with Embiid tearing the league up when he's on the floor. Indiana is at the 4th spot currently. Halliburton is like assist guy for real. He's averaging like assists.
Didn't he just get hurt though?
He did, but it wasn't season ending, so it was he got hurt, but he'll be okay for the team.
Okay.
You got my Knicks at the 5th spot, which is what we do. We had a huge trade. We got Anunoby from Toronto, and we got RJ Barrego and Quickly. Emmanuel Quickly went up there in Toronto. I'm not mad at that trade. Miami is at the 6th spot. Tyler Hero, and them boys. You got Cleveland at 7. Orlando has dropped down to 8. At one point in time, they were like 2nd seed, 3rd seed, but they've been kind of hitting that bump. You got Chicago currently at the 9th seed, and you got Brooklyn at the 10th seed. Teams on the verge, like, contend for the 10th spot, in my opinion. You got Toronto and you got Atlanta. Because Brooklyn only got Atlanta by 2 spots and Toronto by 1. So at them 10, do you see any change in the bottom half of that 10? Because I don't see from 1 through 6, I don't see it really being too much of a change. Too much. Maybe Cleveland could slide to 7th spot or 6th spot. But for the most part, I think that 1 through 6 spot is cemented. I don't really see too much.
Did you have Miami in the 6th spot?
Yeah, the Miami's in a 6th spot, yes. Currently.
Right. I don't think anybody beyond Miami, if Miami was to finish 6th, for example, I don't consider any of those teams viable to come out of the East. So you can move up Brooklyn, you can move down Orlando, you can move up Toronto, which, by the way, I have become a big fan of Toronto's head coach after him running his mouth yesterday, sticking up for his team and being like, hey, why are the Lakers going to the free throw line
23 times
in the 4th quarter?
Come on.
We're going 2 times and they're going 23
Come
times.
on.
It was great.
I
thought he was honest.
Yep.
He was poignant, and something about the accent raised it a level, in my opinion, which made me like it even more. So I'm kind of going to be rooting a little bit for Toronto.
Yeah.
The Toronto Raptors. With that being said, I don't think anybody below Miami, like I said, I'm going to take seriously. I don't care who makes the top 10 out of that. Right. I think who makes the play-in tournament, it doesn't matter. It's the top 6. I think even if Miami comes in 6th, they're probably better than a couple teams ahead of them, because Miami, unlike everybody else who says we got a culture, Miami actually has a culture.
Yeah.
Spoelstra just got a new contract.
Yeah. Congratulations. 125 mil.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Make that money.
He deserves it.
Money.
He deserves it.
I think Miami actually really has a culture. So, under Pat Riley and Spoelstra and Alonzo, because he apparently has a lot of say down there still. Butler on how he plays.
That's a definitely a threat in the postseason. That's definitely
they're a threat. If they make it, they're a threat. They're not an easy out. They're a team that can knock off a Milwaukee or
Boston
in the second round or the Eastern Conference Finals. I still ultimately think, because of the roster, I think Boston is the best.
Yeah, I do too.
Our number 1 right now.
I do too.
I think Milwaukee is 2nd, but I'll tell you, Philly's right there.
Right
there with Embiid. But then there's a gap. Then there's a gap. You got the top 3, maybe Miami, even though they're 6th. But I don't consider 4, 5.
Yeah, I agree. Like my Knicks know what they are.
Anywhere
they might win a first round series, but I don't see them contending definitely for no.
Like I know your Knicks. I don't know. Sorry.
Yes.
I don't. Maybe they win a round. I think maybe they win a game or 2. I don't even think they win a round, but a lot can happen. Injuries happen and stuff like that. So, bottom half, I don't really have much to say other than maybe Toronto and Brooklyn moving up.
Yeah, moving up.
Now, but I think they'll be beaten and swept if they get to the play.
They don't have the firepower to contend them boys, man.
Oh,
they don't.
They're not even going to win a game against Milwaukee or the Celtics.
Nah.
If they're playing.
It's like that horse at the race. You start off fast, and then eventually the better horses is going to outrun you.
Yeah.
So their best shot is maybe 2, maybe 3 quarters. Then the 4th quarters is like reality kicks in.
Well, the problem is with these teams that are not as good, they're playing their first couple games on the
On the
road.
road,
So
yeah.
they're already in a hole. They're probably already down 2-0 before they come back home.
Right.
So you're an inferior team. And now, by the time you come home to your home crowd, you're already up against it. You can't go down 3-0.
That's
You
a
know what I
fact.
mean? So I wish just to make it interesting, the lower seeds got like game 1 at home. You could go game 2 or 3, but I wish it was 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7. At the other. I just wish game 1 went to the lower seed because they got no chance. They got no chance.
Nah.
When you're a 7th or 8th seed and you're playing the 1 or the 2 seed and you're on the road, you got no shot. You got no shot. This isn't hockey.
Yeah, it's not hockey. It's definitely not hockey. No, on the West Coast, right? The Western Conference. Currently, you have Minnesota at 1, OKC at 2.
Shocking.
Yeah. I mean, they put it together. You got 2 defensive twin towers out there with Cat, and Cat is actually playing like Cat this year. He's actually playing like Cat, not soft, playing ball. Anthony Edwards, you got Goldberg, it is what he is. He's a shot blocker, rim protector, defender. That's what you're getting him for, So they play defense down there, up there in Minnesota. And Mike Conley's just a glue, man. He just makes things happen, man. He's just one of them guards that's underrated.
Still playing, man. A little old man.
Yeah, man. Still playing. But he makes teams good, Denver at the 3 spot. The Clippers at the 4 spot. I'm impressed. They starting to gel. That's the Harden trade wasn't bad. Regular season it ain't bad.
Yeah, the regular you can get fat on some of these regular season games.
Yeah, you
it's hard to eat up a little bit.
We haven't been around here too long with this guy. Sacramento at the 5th spot. You got the Pelicans at the 6th spot right now. Dallas at the 7th spot. Houston at the 8th spot. Phoenix at the 9th spot.
Who's at the 9th spot?
Phoenix, the Suns.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy, bro. And LA at the 10th spot.
I am not a Laker fan.
Yeah, man.
That is one of my least favorite franchises. And when they got LeBron, that made me like them even less.
Yeah. And then you got Utah and Golden State that could contend for that 10th spot.
How about Golden State?
Now Draymond finally got reindicted. He got reinstated.
I'm glad you brought him up because I was going to ask about him. What are your thoughts on Draymond? I feel like when he talks, he just talks to talk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm at a point where I don't believe what he says. I just think he says stuff just to say it. Talking about retiring. You ain't giving up that money.
No.
You ain't giving up. What are you
giving up that light? You know what I mean? Like it's a thing, man. It's like once that mic is on, the cameras is on, and I'm not saying that he can't have a future outside of it because he's already in the broadcaster space anyway. So I can see him probably.
But so are we. So are
we.
And he ain't better than us.
Yeah,
we didn't play in the association.
Yeah, that's a fact.
I'm just saying he ain't better. He ain't better than this podcast.
I mean, what do you expect him to say? He came back off a suspension, for his conduct. Of course, I'm gonna say that. Yeah, I went to therapy and I really tapped it. You're ego, man. You're narcissistic, man. You have your ego, egomaniac,
egocentric.
So you are. So I can see you going to that's propriality. I think you're in tune with yourself. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I think when you went to your therapy session, it was just a way to talk about you some more, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I don't think it was a root cause. I just think it was I get to talk about me some more. Because it's always been about me. I made my stamp. I'm the heart. I'm the soul. I'm the bully. I'm everything that, once again, I told you my opinion on that thing, man. Once your skill set outweighs, the crap, because we can deal with the crap when your skill set outweighed it. You know what I mean? But now it's catching up. Father Time is undefeated. It's catching up. Your grades is grayer. You know, you don't have that same motor, that same engine. You know, your team's old. You know, it's transition. We're getting out that dynasty. They had a good run. They had a good
Oh,
run.
they had a great
They had a
run.
great one.
They had a great
Okay.
run.
But if you look at the top of the food chain at the current time, it's young. It's a young balance up there.
Mm-hmm.
It's younger players with a mix of some veterans, right? But it's a young man's league, man. Salute to Bron. I know he wants to play with Bronny, but they have an old team. They have an old team, man. You brought old players in. You know, you can't shoot the three. You know what I'm saying? You can't defend the three. So that's been your Achilles heels for the last couple of years. Y'all can't, and it's a 3-point lead. Thanks to Steph Curry, they expanded the line. That's what you're dealing with.
LeBron is playing too many minutes.
Too many, man. I looked at the minutes yesterday, right? Anthony Davis had 41 last night, right? I was looking at the minute count. He's doing 34 minutes at 40. That's a lot. That's a lot. And as a coach, I'm like, come on, man. We got to reduce these minutes because I need you at the end of the race. We see what happened. He got drained. When you need him the most, no knock to LeBron, by the way, America. No knock to LeBron. He did what he was supposed to do. He gave you everything. Unfortunately, his team didn't give him enough. Once again, you're going against 10 against 4, to be honest. Might have been 3. Because Denver was 10 loaded. They get their bodies at you. And they was getting production out from 1 to 10. They was getting production. And you had the best player, on my opinion, in the league on their team. And the best complimentary player to the best number 1 player was when they got Murray. So you were just up against a juggernaut, man. And they made it seem that they let it be known that we're the juggernauts. So I'm loving it, man. I'm surprised Minnesota. I didn't clock Minnesota up as the number 1 team. I didn't. Not when the season started. I thought Golden State might have been up there. I thought they might have a nice night, another run. But with all the chaos with Draymond and then the Chris Paul just don't fit in that system at all. It just don't fit, in my opinion.
Well, Clay and Green are just old now.
Yeah, they're old.
Like they play old.
Yeah, they do. They do.
They play like guys that should be coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Contributing, 20 minutes a game instead of, into the 30s. There are times that Clay actually shoots them out of a game.
That's a fact. Now, the other day, Steph only had 9 points. And I was like, well, did he get injured? No, he had 30 minutes. He had a terrible game. 0 for 9 and 1 for 12 from the field. Hey, bro, y'all did what y'all did. It happens to all of them. Chicago, Boston, but Boston's smart. They just know how to retool, man. They got a system. They know how to retool, man. You know what I mean? Like we can go back. We going, I want to get on to the next subject. But if you think about Boston, they went for what the Havlicek and Bob Cousy. Then they transitioned to the Bird, McHale's. Then they transitioned to the Pierce, the Garnetts. Now they transition to the Tatum and the Browns. But they
got to win. They got to win.
Yeah, they definitely got to win.
They've been one of these top seeds for a few years now. They only made the finals once, and they didn't win. And they were up. Were they up 2-0?
Yeah, they were up 2.
They were up 2-0, and they lost that series.
Yeah.
So they got to win one now. They're not the standard until they win one.
I agree. I mean, if it's a time to do it, I think this year is definitely that time because when you taste that finals, because I know they expected to go back, but Miami derailed them last year. But I'm looking at the team and how it's built, and long as Porzingis and them boys can stay healthy, Porzingis mostly, if he can stay healthy, they're definitely a liable threat because they play defense, and I'm a big thing about defenders, man. I think defense will definitely win you games, especially in the postseason, because the windows get tighter. No different in the playoffs that we're gonna talk about. Windows get tighter. You're getting your best of the best. So it's not no more of this long ball crap. You know what I mean? It's really like it gets trimmed down, pretty much the half court ball. You know what I mean? So you want great defenders when it gets to half court ball. Straight up.
Yep.
Straight up. But moving on, man. Let's move on, man. Man, you called it, man. Black Monday. You called it. I didn't
Well,
see it happening. I didn't think that Tennessee was going to part ways with Vrabel, but you called it. You said it. You said it. They part ways with
just
him.
gotta look at the trend. The trend
Yeah,
is 6 to 7 coaches every year.
yeah,
And
yeah,
we already had 3 changes before the season ended.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, and then Pete Carroll, guy that his role transition, but we know
mhm.
that was for his ego, that was for his legacy, that was for his career. He got fired.
Yeah,
He got fired. All right.
yeah.
So Seattle job is open. Um, hey man, you gamble on uh, I can't blame the guy. I mean, I don't know what to say, you know.
Mhm,
Um, you moved on from Russell Wilson. You had a good year with Geno, but Geno was Geno. Like, what do
mhm.
you thought you was gonna get out of Geno? You know, you got Drew Lock, which I'm not impressed with the quarterback situation
He's
out
a
there.
backup.
He's a backup. Your defense suffered tremendously. You know, I went from the boom was the
The
Legion of
lead-
Boom to the Legion of Crap. Okay, I'm just being honest. Can't stop a nosebleed. They couldn't, right? So it was going to happen, bro. I mean, they got a chip. You know, you could have had two if you ain't make a dumb move and take a dumb move and don't give it the beast mode with 4 downs in your possession, and you want to let Russell Wilson throw the ball. Dumb. Okay. Um, we don't know what Belichick is going to do up in New England. Now, it's a high chance that he's gone. High chance, in my opinion. High probability he's going to be gone. So now it's they need a quarterback up there. So that's going to be interesting what they're going to go for in the draft.
Got
Your
the third
boys,
pick draft
you got the
right
third
now.
pick in the draft. So we're going to see what they're going to do with it. So they need a coaching spot. So like we were talking about Jim Harbaugh, and now you got the Tennessee job,
Mhm,
you got the Seattle job.
mhm.
Hmm. And Tennessee is rebuild city for real. And Seattle is like you still got. I don't see it being attractive for either of them spots for Jim Harbaugh. I don't see it. You? I think that Tennessee will probably give him what he want because the owner is definitely in tune to know that he could bring what they're, and I think they're more patient to deal with his system. So in that case,
The,
they'll
the
work with him.
owner of Tennessee is a woman.
Yeah, she's a woman, exactly. So that could be a great relationship. But I don't know
Uh,
if it's attractive. It's an attractive position down there. You know what I mean?
you got to think about the open jobs right now. Carolina open.
Right.
He could probably have the money and the power, but he would need results within 2 years.
Indeed. But I don't know
Okay.
if he got the quarterback he wants down there.
What about the Chargers?
I mean, if they get somehow finagle the big or make some money financial moves happen, right? He got the
Not
quarterback he could work with for sure. He got the
Mhm.
quarterback he could work
And
with for
he
sure,
might get the power.
and he might get the power. So he could build that up. That could be of all the jobs. I think that would have been the sexiest jobs that he could probably do, as far as just personnel wise. You know what I mean? But then they got a lot of. I think they got a lot of shuffling of the cap up there, don't they? Because are they over cap? Are they over cap up there in
And with
Los
the
Angeles?
LA, the Chargers, I
Yeah,
don't think they're over. I don't think they're over, but they might be up against it where they got to like release like a
some big
Khalil Mack.
contracts. Okay,
Yeah, like a Khalil Mack. But there's other openings. There's what about Washington? They have the second pick. Probably going to take a quarterback. New ownership,
new ownership,
big market,
big market,
big fan base. Gonna get a new stadium in a few years.
going to get a new stadium. Got a hell of a fan base. Hell of a fan
Hell
base.
of a fan.
And you talking about
Chocolate City.
Chocolate City. Now, if you're talking about rebuilding, we're telling they're Maryland, but okay. If you talking about a rebuild, he's a rebuilder guy.
Mm-hmm.
Second pick, you can go get a quarterback that you want,
You could get a quarterback.
that he wants.
And if there's one that he wants over everybody else, I'm sure Chicago will listen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they'll listen. Not impossible.
Not
If there's
possible.
one guy over everybody else. What about Atlanta?
Well, yeah,
Atlanta.
we ain't talking about
What about
Arthur.
Atlanta?
Arthur Smith got fired down in
Arthur
Atlanta.
Smith is out.
You're right. Now that ownership is a great ownership to work for.
Arthur Blank, the
Arthur
owner
Blake,
of Home
he's a
Depot.
great owner to work for. But once again, it's the quarterback situation because their quarterbacks is just not good. But then again, it could have been a system. Could have been a system.
Well, they are also picking in the top 10. They're
They
picking
are.
8th.
Man,
They're
Atlanta.
picking 8th.
Man, Atlanta. Whew. It is some jobs
They
out there,
they
man.
can move up. Carolina moved up last year from 9 to 1.
They did.
Atlanta can move up.
Man, you got the whole world in your hands. You got the whole world in your hands.
Mm-hmm. Big city.
Big state. Great fan base. New stadium.
Good
Fairly new stadium down there.
Great stadium. One of my good friends has been there a few times. He takes pictures. That stadium, their concession is like the cheapest concession stands in the entire NFL. And that stadium's only like 5 years old.
It is. I see when they were building the stadium. I got family down there, so I seen when they were actually building that stadium. Yeah, beautiful stadium. Beautiful stadium. Yep. Man, this is for him it's a great feeling to know that you have it's going to be your pick.
Options.
You got a ton of options. You can stay at Michigan, which I mean you done everything you was going to do. You conquered your the rival, right? You got a national championship. You know.
But he loves it. He's an alum. He's a Michigan
guy. He's a Michigan guy. So that could be a thing where he might just be like, I might want to retire. You know, as you know, Nick Saban retired.
He might just want to come back.
He might want to come back, man. So we can speculate about him going to the NFL. That might not be the move. He might actually come back to college and say, you know what? I'm in my days out here. You know, I want to continue what I got going on here with these young men. And build an Alabama type of situation where, you know, you're just, you know, dominating. You know, Nick Saban finally called it quits. He's done. Now, my question, is he done? Or is he might go up and give it another stab at the NFL? He's done.
I don't think so. I maybe as like an assistant coach or an advisor to help out Belichick. Or I know he's good friends with Schwartz because they were all on the same staff for the Cleveland Browns back in the mid-90s. Jim Schwartz.
Yeah.
And Saban and Belichick. But if you notice, these guys in their early 70s are kind of getting pushed. Pete Carroll, the oldest head coach in the NFL, 72 years old, kind of got pushed. Nick Saban, 72 years old.
Wow.
He's got the exact same birthday as my father. They were born on the same day. Literally. They are the exact same age. That's how I know Nick Saban's birthday. And that's how I know he's 72 years old. His birthday's on Halloween. And then you got Bill Belichick, who's 71.
Yeah.
And he's 50-50 at best at returning. You know, there's
they're definitely pushing the old guys out. It's a young man sport, man. Even when the coach
I think what's his face? I think there's some situations where there were still head coaches that are still employed, but might not be sometime this off season. Like there's rumors. I'm hearing rumors that John Gruden wants to come back, and he's eyeing up the Saints.
Wow.
Now you tell me.
Allen is a terrible coach. So
okay, but besides Dennis Allen being a terrible coach, what do you think of this fiasco that Jameis Winston did at the end of the game against Atlanta? Did you hear what happened here?
What happened?
Oh my gosh. Once again, Jameis Winston in the news for other things other than being a good quarterback.
Okay.
So I want you to picture this. Dennis Allen at the end of the game, they're at the 1 yard line, close to scoring against Atlanta, but they are inside of a minute, and they've already won. They're already way ahead of Atlanta. Dennis Allen tells Jameis Winston to take victory formation. Okay, you know what that is?
Yeah. Take the knee.
Yeah, that's when they line up and the quarterback steps back, takes a knee. Nobody rushes. You know, it's kind of like an unwritten rule, right? Like game is over. They take victory formation and they run a play. They hand the ball off to this dude Williams, so he gets a touchdown because he didn't have any this year, and he led the league in touchdowns when he was on Detroit last year. So Jameis Winston took it upon himself to run a play. This dude got a touchdown, and you can see on YouTube, you could see when the game is over, Arthur Smith walking over to Dennis Allen. They do not shake hands. Arthur Smith starts dropping F-bombs like, what the F was that about? Why the F did you do that? And then in the post game, you hear Dennis Allen saying, you know, he should have been mad. I told him to take victory formation, and they took it upon themselves to run a play. You know, when you're in victory formation, let's say you're the defense. Half those guys are standing up. They're not in position for contact.
Yeah,
so if you run a play, you're risking those guys getting hurt,
and that's
because they're not ready. And then vice versa. If you're in victory formation, you're going to take a knee, and the defense like blitzes or whatever, you can hurt the offensive guys, the offensive linemen and stuff like that. So that's what happened. And of course, Jameis Winston, completely oblivious, be like, oh, you know, we want to get him a touchdown, and you know, that's what we wanted to do. At first he said that's what I wanted to do. And then when he kept getting questioned about it, he's like, well, the whole team agreed. And he changed it to me, to the team, or whatever. What do you think? And you can YouTube it later on your own time. You can see the play, and then you can see the two coaches coming towards each other. What do you think about that situation at the end of the game? And are you surprised that something like that happened and Jameis Winston was the ringleader to that? What would you do with your head coach if you're the owner and your backup quarterback for pulling that stunt?
In that type of situation, man, one, my backup quarterback ain't my backup quarterback next year. That's for one. Two, my head coach is on a thin line anyway. You know what I mean? So that's just me just really getting rid of him. I ain't gonna lie, because you gotta take accountability. That's your team. So for you to send that guy out there and him to blatantly do what he wanted to do, make us look bad as a franchise, make football look bad as a franchise. Because like you said, it's an unwritten rule. It's one of them rules. Like, come on, man, we already done won the game. You know, like you said, you know, it could have backfired. Somebody get injured. Now you're really looking crazy, man. So once again, Dennis Allen is not like you're a great coach. Okay. Your team should have won the South instead of not making the playoffs. Okay. So at the end of the day, man, I'm not agree with nothing Jameis Winston do. Ever since he came out of Florida State, he's been nothing but hype machine, man. This guy, he got great speeches. He talked good, great mouthpiece. You know,
we're gonna eat a W.
Yeah, all day, right? But
let's go out there and eat a W.
Yeah, eat a W. Yeah. For production, no, you don't know. So I just think it's a crap show out there in New Orleans. And if Gruden wants to come back, why not?
Yeah, why not?
He makes it fun.
He makes it fun.
Yeah. Yeah, we let the scandal rest, put that to bed, go down to New Orleans, build up something special down there. And it'd be like a distant memory, man. Like a distant memory. You know, it's gonna be interesting, man. Some of these vacancies and how they're gonna fill them. I'm looking forward, man, to seeing what new coaches are coming in, to shuffling, what Jim Harbaugh is going to do. It's a lot of things going on, which we always look forward to this in the NFL, don't we, my brother? Don't we?
There's always a storyline that
always storyline with NFL, my brother.
Sucks us in, man.
It always does.
What are the Bears gonna do? What are they?
What are the Bears gonna do?
Fields? They're not gonna keep Fields. They're gonna draft Caleb Williams. They're not gonna draft Caleb Williams. Here's what I'm saying. Plan A for me, keep Fields, trade down to either Washington or New England. So that's either 2 or 3. Get a few picks, draft Marvin Harrison Jr., draft Brock Bowers. Hopefully, when you made the trade, you got an early second-round pick. Draft Cedric Van Pran, the center from Georgia, and then let's go to war. That's option 1. Option 2, which is probably what's gonna happen, and I'm starting to wrap my brain around it. Draft Caleb Williams at number 1. Either get a Dunze with the 9th pick, which is the wide receiver from Washington, or get what's the other guy? Napers. What's it? Malik Napers from LSU.
That's LSU, yeah.
Okay, get one of those two. So the quarterback will have another weapon wide receiver. Still have DJ Moore. Pick up a center along the way. Maybe have to buy one. Maybe get a Connor Williams from Miami, something like that. That's option 2. What I don't want, I don't want them to draft Caleb Williams and keep Justin Fields on the team because you hurt the value of the guy you're going to move on from.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay? And I don't want to hear, well, Caleb can learn under Justin for a year or 2. No, because the locker room belongs to Justin. That's going to make it very uneasy for Caleb.
It is.
You can't have a young rookie come in there and have nobody. It's better to move on from Justin and give the team a few months to wrap their head around it and come to the realization we don't have him anymore. We got this kid now. Let's go. Let's be professionals. You gotta rip the Band-Aid off. Don't just kind of peel it. Just rip it off. It's a big ow, and then okay, let's go. So I've explained I'm in the Justin Fields camp. If they do Caleb Williams, it could be worse. It could be worse than drafting that guy and getting another top pick in the top 10. Life could be worse. And what's worse is keeping Justin Fields and bringing them in. That's no good. That messes with chemistry. That divides the locker room. You don't want to do that. So that's what I don't want. Scenario A or scenario B, not scenario C. No. Don't like it. Yucky, yucky, caca, caca, as my son would say. Listen, man, other than these coaching vacancies, and I think there might be 1 or 2 more that open up, within the next month or so, I think it might be time.
It might be time, man.
It might be time for us to do the super wild card picks of the 2023/24 season. Now, I got to say, our picks last week, very good.
Very good.
You went 11-5. However, we disagreed on one game, and I got that one. So I went 12-4. Yes, sir. 12-4.
That daggone Vikings game hurt me, man. That Viking game hurt me, man. I could have won. I could have won some money. I ain't gonna lie. That Vikings game killed me. I can't. But I'm just don't understand it. I don't. Why do? Because it's a Vegas play. Why did Detroit play their starters the whole game? You can't go up.
And the tight end got hurt.
And the tight end got hurt. Porter. That was dumb. That's why you don't do that. Stupid. Campbell. Talk about momentum in the playoffs. That don't exist. Don't exist. 0-0. 0-0, buddy. It's 0-0. Nobody cares about no momentum. That don't exist in the playoffs. It just don't. It don't. You're going to get the best team in that moment, that day. The best team. Don't care about you went on a 9-game winning streak before. Don't matter. You're going to get the best team that day. Dumb coaching.
100%. 100%.
Let's go.
Let's go. By the way, the Chargers, you cost me money. Don't rely on a bad team.
Better not.
Don't. No matter what the situation is, don't do it. They are a no play. No play.
No play.
Chargers. Okay, let's get it done. Let's get it crack-a-lacking. Let's do it. Saturday, 4:30, NBC. The Cleveland Browns with Joe Flacco at the Houston Texans. C.J. Stroud, the rookie, against the old vet. Houston is a 2.5-point home underdog. What do you think?
Oh, man. Great game. It's going to be a great game. Explosive game, in my opinion. I think it's going to be very explosive. I like Cleveland's defense a lot. And I like what Texas is doing on defense. You know what I mean? I like what D'Amico Ryans has done down there. I'm liking old man Joe, man. I'm liking old man Joe in Cleveland, man. I just think that they definitely, with old man Joe, he still got that rocket arm. He still got an arm, man. So these people, he's getting the ball to receivers. They're going to run the ball. That's what they do. But on the flip side of that coin, that C.J. Stroud is a gamer. Young boy's a gamer. So it's going to be very interesting, man, because I don't see Texas going there and bowing down. But I just think that the Browns just have just a stronger team, you know, all the way around the border. So I'm actually liking the Browns for the cover. And it could possibly be a shootout down there, honestly. So give me the Browns for the cover.
Well, Houston just hosted a national championship game, so I'm thinking it is going to be a shootout for the most part. I'm in agreement with you. I think Cleveland is the more complete team. I think they got the veterans on the team that have won. I think you got the two top coaching candidates for Coach of the Year in this game.
Indeed.
Listen, the sky's the limit for C.J. Stroud. And you know it because I told you I thought he should have been the number one pick in the draft.
Yeah.
I think Carolina made a mistake. I think it was Houston's benefit. I love the fact that Houston was picking 2, and then they moved up from 12 in the first round all the way up to 3. So they were back-to-back picks, 2 and 3. It looks like they got it right with both guys on offense and defense. That being said, I think Cleveland wins this game. I like Myles Garrett to make a couple plays in the fourth quarter on defense to seal it for them. He was really on pace to get Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
He tailed off a little bit at the end of the year. Now I'm not really sure who I'm leaning towards. But game-wise, I think Cleveland wins the game. They definitely cover the 2.5. We are in agreement. Cleveland Browns win the first game on Super Wild Card Saturday. Second game is going to be 8 o'clock on Peacock. So, sign up, America. And they are going to get a couple superstars as the Miami Dolphins travel to the very, very cold Kansas City Chiefs. I don't love the number. The Chiefs are a 4.5-point home favorite. It's going to be very cold as it is. Their receivers can't hold on to the ball.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be windy and freezing. That ball is going to be as hard as a rock. That being said, though, Miami has been leaking oil a little bit finishing the year. The only good team they beat this year was Dallas.
Yeah.
Kansas City, although they're not the Kansas City of last year, I just don't see them at home losing to a Florida team in the frigid cold. This could be the second coldest game in the history of the NFL.
Is it?
Second. It could be
second. No. Heck no. Talking about Florida team?
A Florida team. Not only a Florida team, Miami, which is
Miami?
the southernmost, not Jacksonville, not Tampa, Miami.
Now it don't make
South
good.
Southern Florida at freezing
Reason.
Kansas City.
I don't see how.
First of all, bet the under. Bet the under.
Oh, definitely up at
In
the under.
totality, because
Yeah.
it's not going to be a lot of points.
And it's a grind game. It's going to fall into man, because Miami can run the ball. So in
They
those
can
type
run
of
the
games,
ball a little bit.
they can run the
but
ball.
Keep in mind, Miami doesn't have Chubb
They don't.
anymore
Or
for the year.
Phillips.
So and
Xavier
Howard's not
not playing
expected to
exactly.
play.
So
Bad defense.
bad defense, man. So that's just screaming for and then this is the type of games that Wisconsin thrive in, Mahomes. You know, now is the receivers going to catch the ball? That's the big question mark. But it's hard for me to take Miami going to Kansas City in the freezing cold, but it is the playoffs, and we have seen things happen. You know, it's not like Kansas City's a dominant team this year. They're really not.
No, and they've lost a lot at home.
They have. So not the home field don't even really matter. But you talking about one of the coldest games in Miami going out there. I just don't see it happening, man. That's a different beast.
What about the Cheetah making his return to Kansas City? Because when they played each other earlier in the season.
Yeah, they played overseas in England.
Germany or England?
It was Germany, I believe. Yeah, it was Germany. It was Germany. Yeah, I mean he did, but then you gotta think second half. In the second half, the Kansas City Chiefs actually shut them down. They didn't score in the second half.
Right.
Remember, they put 21 up in the first half and had to barely hold on for that win. Right. So I just think I'm going with Kansas City. It's going to be hard for me to bet against them, like you said, man. Too many factors going against Miami. It is a playoffs, and it could work in Miami's favor. The Cheetah could have a great game, big game, and they could mess up everybody's pick. But for now, I'm just gonna go with Kansas City, man. Tight game, like you said, tight game, low scoring game. Yeah, just give me Kansas City. I don't like the number with the 4 though, but
4.5.
4.5. So
Yeah,
I don't like that number, man. I don't like that number. So I like Kansas City for the dub, but I like Miami for the points because I can see it just being a field goal game.
So you're taking Miami
for the points.
So you're taking Miami.
Well, let me see. Let me think about this. Grind out game, football, cold. That means you're going to run the ball. Miami does have running backs, but then Kansas City is kind of stout against the run. Nah, I'm going to stick with Kansas City. Give me Kansas City. I can't flip it.
I'm in agreement. I don't like the number, but there's nothing that Miami has shown me recently.
Yeah.
Make me have any kind of faith that they can cover a number.
No.
So I'm going to say Kansas City, last stand, as they say. This will be maybe the only game that I'm going to pick them to win in the playoffs and cover the number. It's just if they can't win this one, they wouldn't win any. If you can't beat a Southern Florida team in the frigid cold in January, then it just wasn't your year. It wasn't meant to be. If you can't cover that number, it wasn't meant to be. I think Miami can stay in it for a little while because of the running game. But once they fall behind and, the Cheetahs start saying, hey, get me the ball. Waddle got hurt.
Yeah.
He might play, but he's a little
gimpy. Yeah, he's gimpy.
But now instead of the two-headed speedy monster, it's only one.
Mm-hmm. But then you got the dual running backs though for Miami though. You got 2 running backs to throw at you. So that's the thing to look at too.
Kansas City's got a couple pretty good running backs too. If they stay,
they do. Hilaire and Pacheco
and Pacheco.
Yeah, Pacheco. So they definitely got some dogs, some horses back there too.
They got some guys too. So if they can stay commit, plus, Kansas City's offensive line is good in the middle. Their center and 2 guards are good. their tackles are bad in pass protection.
But then again, they don't got no edge rushers right now, Miami. So
No, they
that
don't.
kind of nullifies that right there. You know what I mean?
They don't.
Now you gave me Chubb
One
and
of their
Phillips.
starting corners is out. Howard.
Yeah, exactly. Now if you'd have gave me a healthy defensive Miami, my pick would have swayed because I would have felt defensive they could have brought pressure. But if you don't bring pressure to Pat Mahomes, man, he'll pick you apart, bro. And
Yeah.
you talking about that's his environment, freezing cold.
It's just a matter of those wide receivers catching a couple balls. You might have to target Kelsey 15 times.
Yeah, that's a fact. Because I don't trust the other receiver.
No, not maybe Rice. Maybe Rice.
But not the guy they got from New York. Not Tony. Heck no. He got he been eating popcorn before the games, man. Butterfingers, man. I'm trying to tell you, man.
All right, so we're in agreement. We're 2 for 2. Okay, Sunday we got 3 games.
Okay.
Pittsburgh at Buffalo. Sunday, 1 o'clock, CBS or Paramount Plus. You choose, America. The spread is 10. Buffalo is a 10-point home favorite. They have come up short with these big spreads.
That's a fact.
Pittsburgh barely made the playoffs, and no TJ Watt.
I know.
And I think since TJ Watt I think Pittsburgh's record without TJ Watt, I think they've only won twice.
Yeah, it's a losing record. So I see why the number is at 10. I do. Then you gotta go up to the cold weather really don't matter because Pittsburgh plays in cold weather too. So
they could both play in this weather.
No matter. You talk about Pittsburgh's strength is going to be their run. That's what they do. They run the ball. Buffalo gets the run isn't too bad. Josh Allen's a Swiss Army knife, boy. Like you said, man, that record means something, man. With TJ Watt, is just a different defense. This is a whole different defense because you're talking about pressure. So if you can't bring pressure, once again, he's one on quarterbacks. He's an elite quarterback. So if you can't pressure him, he'll pick you. He'll kill you. Mm-hmm. He'll literally kill you. So it could get ugly. And you talking about Mason Rudolph to try to come back touchdown for touchdown. You know what I mean? Only thing that's going to keep this game underneath the number if Buffalo has a lot of turnovers. If Josh Allen, because he's turnover prone. So if he goes out there and coughs the ball two or three times, and then they're not going to get beat by the 10. Now, if he has a clean game, maybe one, because you think about batted balls, you think about stuff like that. Him always trying to thread the pocket, and then Pittsburgh make a play on the ball, stuff like that. Fumbles.
Old, and he runs with the ball. He's been known to fumble as he gets tackled.
That part. So I'm thinking about turnovers. That's the part with what keep the number underneath the 10. Man, that's a big number, bro. 10 for the playoffs. That's a big number.
Well, I'll just tell you whether this impacts your decision or not. It is a big number, but I'm picking Buffalo because I think they're the better team.
I do too, and I just can't. I just can't go with Pittsburgh off the simple the fact is one, you barely made the playoff, which don't mean nothing. But you lost your number one defensive player, and he is a difference maker. Because I've seen when they don't have him on the field, it's a completely different team. One player does make a difference. It's like Chris Jones out there in Kansas City. You don't have him on the field. It's not the same defense. And you're talking about going to Buffalo, crazy Buffalo mob. I can't gamble with Mason Rudolph, the third string quarterback. I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't, bro. Playoffs, I can't. You barely beat the backup Ravens. I'm good. So now give me Buffalo, man. I went through all the motions, but for the most part, America, I can't gamble with a third string quarterback without their number one defensive guy. Nah. So give me Buffalo.
We are in agreement again. Same reasons. I think Buffalo is better.
Yeah.
Plus Pittsburgh without their best defensive player. To me, if Buffalo's ever going to cover a number, this is when they're going to cover it.
Yeah.
I could actually see Buffalo winning by 20. Forget about 10.
It could get ugly. I can see him being a 30-10 type game. Seriously, it can get ugly, bro.
I feel like the
Pittsburgh is
last
not a
quarter,
high scoring team. No, Pittsburgh's
right.
not a high scoring team.
They have to run.
They have to run. So now you're talking about, and Buffalo's a quick strike offense, so they could get it going quick.
They can.
Big play guys. So
yes.
they get this going touchdown, and you are fourth down 14-3, and you trying to run this ball. And if you get down big, you got to go away from the run.
Mm-hmm.
If you get down big in Buffalo, the run is negated. You're not going to keep running the ball. You're going to have to start taking strikes. You putting Mason Rudolph in that position to try to make big strikes.
Mm-hmm.
He gotta prove me. He gotta prove me wrong, bro. He gotta prove me wrong. I don't think that. No, I don't think that he's like Trubisky.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's real. It's a magician's trick, and you're gonna see the real Mason Rudolph when this playoff comes out. Now, if I'm wrong, you're gonna be talking about, damn, we ain't see that happening. It will have to be all them factors we named for us to be wrong, and I just don't see it happening.
To me, this is the point spread aside. This is the easiest game to pick of all the games this weekend. I would be shocked if Pittsburgh won this game. I won't be shocked if Buffalo doesn't cover the number. I won't be shocked about that because it's a big number. But if Buffalo were to lose this game, I don't know what to say. Like I said, beginning of the year, and I'm sticking with it, San Francisco, Buffalo in the Super Bowl. That's what I said. And there's no reason for Buffalo went from possibly not making the playoffs if they lost to winning the division and being the second seed.
Yeah. Impressive.
Being second only to the Ravens.
Impressive.
And they got a team that's built to win at Baltimore. And I'm not saying they're going to right now. I'm not saying that. But they have a team that's built for that. So we are in agreement again. Buffalo Bills, Bills Mafia. And on a personal note, this will be the team I'll be rooting for the most in the entire playoffs. They'll be the ones I'll be rooting for the most. They're the ones I want to see win the Super Bowl this year more than anybody that's left. Now, I know there's a team that you'd rather see a little more than Buffalo. So let's get into them. 4:30, Fox. The Green Bay Packers. That's your team. No, it isn't. At the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas is a 7.5 point home favorite. I'm going to tell you right now.
I love my boys.
I definitely think Dallas is going to win, but I don't like that number.
I love my boys.
Going with Green Bay.
I love my boys.
Going with Green Bay.
I love my boys. Okay? We're a dominant team at home. We are just a different animal at home. You're going to Dallas, Big D, big game. Man, we destroy teams that are home, man. And Jordan Love playing like a stud right now. But like you said, that number scares me. 7.5. I don't like the hooker. And one of these teams is not going to cover. That's just the way football is. One of the favorites is not going to cover. And then we have a thing of underperforming in the playoffs. Seriously. Like, maybe it's different because Mike McCarthy did take over the play call this year. You know what I'm saying? I don't see it losing to Green Bay, but they didn't come in limping. You know what I'm saying? They came in with confidence. So, and Jordan Love is playing. They're playing. He's playing good ball. I give him his due. Man, I mean, we are a different team at home, though, man. We dominate at home. Like, we blow jokers out at home.
But let's be honest. 2 weeks ago, you should have lost to Detroit.
Yeah, you're right about that. And that's the same division that we struggle with. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I'm going to stick by my guns and go with Green Bay for the points. You know what I mean? Because I just don't like the hooker. 7.5. Some other 7.5 point is always just a funny number.
Complete agreement. I saw that number. I said I gotta go Green Bay, but I do think Dallas wins. I
like them for the win, but it's just that 7.5, and it jumped out. Like when I saw the line, the first thing that jumped out to me was the 7.5. All the games that jumped out to me, I was like, that 7.5 is scary. I wasn't even concerned about the 9.5 for Pittsburgh, especially with Watt being out. And I'm like, 7.5 though, man. And I know us. We'd be super hyped, man, and we'll come out there flat, man. We'll come out flat. It's Dallas. I'm a Cowboys fan. I know what we do. I just know what we do. So yeah, so I'll take Green Bay for the points. I love my boys. We're gonna win the game, but just give me the points. There's a betting man.
100%. All right, the late game,
Woo!
8 o'clock. What's that?
I said, woo! Ric Flair, woo!
8 o'clock. It's called the Stafford Comes Home game.
That's why I said, woo!
The LA Rams, NBC,
Yep.
at the Detroit Lions. The Lions are a 3-point home favorite.
Guess what? I'm gonna make it real easy for you, my brother. When you make dumb moves and do dumb coaching and do dumb stuff, you don't deserve to win the first game. Okay? So I am totally on the Rams. I like the Rams for the win. Shocking America with this one. I like the Rams for the win. I like what Matt Stafford, I think that was smart what McVay did by sitting his starters, because that's what you do. You sit the starters. If the last game, let's get some rest, get ready to go on the road and play a real game. No, you don't play the starters and lose your tight end, dummy. Dummy. I respect Dan Campbell, but that was just a dumb move. It was dumb. That's dumb. For nothing. You have nothing to gain from that. And it's going to bite you in the behind, because they're going to show you that momentum does not carry over in the playoffs. You're going to see. You lost one of the key players to your offense, and it's going to bite you in the behind. Watch what I tell you. They rested Aaron Donald. He's going to be on your quarterback. He's coming. He's coming for golf. Your line ain't that sold. It's a good line, but it ain't the sold line. It's going to be a shootout, but I think if any team could come in there and beat Detroit, it could be the Rams, because they got their run game going. And it's not just off of that. I really think that the Rams could beat them. Like, they really have receivers. They got a veteran quarterback. They got a defense that could get at you. You know, they definitely got a running back. And once that running back came on, they became a whole different team. You know, they got a rookie receiver that broke the rookie receiving record. You know, I mean, they just got some weapons, man. And I like their coach. I think that Detroit definitely got some grit. They grind. They go and run the ball for sure. They're going to try to establish a run. They definitely got some receivers, some playmakers. It's going to be a hell of a game up there in Detroit. But I just think the Rams are going to come away with the victory, man. I think it's going to be them against San Fran. Them going against San Fran. Another division game for the third time. Watch.
I think this will be the most entertaining game
for sure
of the weekend. I could see this being a shootout. Once both offenses get going, it's just going to be academic. How many plays is it going to take? I think the defenses maybe establish themselves early, but once the offenses break the skill, it's going to be back and forth. I
agree. I totally agree.
I hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree with what you're saying. I thought it was dumb for Campbell to play his starters. His tight end got hurt, and he's out now for the game. And I think sometimes Campbell, too much pride, too much bravado, just like the week before when that stupid, which shouldn't have been a penalty, they called the penalty. You got to kick the extra point.
You got to kick the extra point.
You got to kick that extra point. Now you went from the 2 to the 7. You got to kick the extra point. Take your chances in overtime. Don't lose that momentum. He did it. He did it out of emotion, going for the 2 again. Can't do that. And you can't leave Laporta out there. That's one of you, that was one of your really good guys.
Yeah.
Rookie, really unexpected impact. Now you lost that. Listen, man, the Rams got 2 good wide receivers, the veteran in Cup and the new rookie. And Aaron Donald is still playing on defense. He's still there.
Kyron Williams.
Detroit does have a good offensive line. They have a good center and 2 good tackles in Decker and Sewell. I could really go either way. But because it seems like a lot of people, because like I said, they're calling it the Stafford Comes Home game. I just feel like Detroit didn't come this far, wasn't talked about all off season, And to this point, to get a home playoff game and lose. People talk about the storybook ending for Stafford. Well, Stafford already won a Super Bowl. He went to the Rams and won it his first year.
Yeah.
How about the storybook ending for Goff?
Yeah.
Goff was the cast-off.
He
He was
was.
the one McVay wanted to get rid of. How about Goff having his moment, winning in a head-to-head match against the Rams, beating McVay, beating Stafford? I'm going with Detroit at home to win and cover the 3. Our first game that we disagree, Detroit Lions to win it and advance. Last game of the weekend, Monday, 8 p.m., ABC. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Not your Philadelphia Eagles at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Philly in Florida. Tampa has not looked impressive even in their wins, but they're winning.
Yeah, they're winning.
Philly has lost 5 of their last 6 games.
Losing.
Yes.
Man,
and
this is scary,
quarterback
man.
is getting hurt, and something weird is happening with the coaching staff.
Yeah.
All of a sudden now I'm hearing whispers that if the Eagles lose, Sirianni could be on the hot seat. Just went to the Super Bowl last year, but you could tell with Laurie, if it looks like you're kind of lost the locker room, he moves on.
That's a fact.
He moved on from Andy Reid when it looked like he lost the locker room.
Yep.
Andy Reid was there, 13 years?
13 years, though.
So it's okay.
Yeah.
But
Doug
Peterson went from winning the Super Bowl to 2 years later being unemployed.
Indeed.
Okay. And that weird thing happened at the end where Carson Wentz was already benched for Hurts, and then he benches Hurts for the 3rd string to get some playing time. It made no sense. And then Peterson a week later or whatever gets fired because it didn't seem like ownership didn't feel strongly about the direction that Peterson was taking them. It was really weird. And now all of a sudden Sirianni's got the deer in the headlights look. Getting rid of Desai as a defensive coordinator, bringing in Patricia. The defense has just gotten worse since then. They had problems defending the pass. Now they can't do the pass or the run.
Yeah, it's bad.
They can't do anything.
It's bad, man.
Hurts is hurt, so they're not scoring like they were doing.
Yeah, it's bad, man.
Listen, normally I would have easily picked Philly to win this game, but Tampa winning ugly still looks better than Philly losing bad. I kind of want Philly to win because I want to see a Philadelphia-Dallas game next week.
Yes,
and
sir.
Hopefully, possibly, if that were to happen, we can have a guest next week.
Man, that'd be good.
Possibly, because I got someone I want to reach out to over this. I'll give you a hint. Big-time Eagles fan.
Oh, big time.
Big-time Eagles fan. Makes for better radio.
For sure.
Bringing an Eagles fan than to bring in. I know a couple people who also do podcasts that are Dallas fans, but I don't need a bunch of Dallas cheerleaders on this podcast. Unless it's the actual cheerleaders.
Right.
Just but yeah, so I would definitely reach out to somebody to try and get a person that's in our business, that's an Eagles fan, that can talk, by the way.
Indeed.
For real.
Indeed.
For real.
Indeed.
So I'm going to be rooting for Philly because of the show.
Right.
Because of the business. But I'm picking Tampa Bay because going into this game, they just look better and they're at home. And you just got to use logic. So and Tampa is a 3-point underdog. So Philly can lose, but I still win with the number.
Yeah.
So I'm taking Tampa with the number.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you, man. I just think that Philly's trying to scratch it. They're trying to figure it out. And unfortunately, when you come into, I know we talk about momentum. I said momentum isn't this or that, but when you have lost your identity, it's hard to get that back. You know what I'm saying? So once things get tight in the playoffs, like you said, you're going to a hostile environment in Tampa Bay. They did win their weak division, but they came in winning. They came in winning, playing winning ball. And then if things don't get to clicking with Philly, because they got to like really literally get things clicking. If they hit any stalls in this bump, I think it's going to affect them mentally. You know what I mean? Especially drives, starting on threes and outs, and it's already chirping from AJ Brown about him not getting the ball and the diva crap that goes on with football teams, and then your defense is trash because Matt Patricia. The defense ain't going to be miraculously good. Okay, I've never been a Matt Patricia fan, never will be. He's a bad coach, straight up. He's a great magician. He's a great manipulator. I don't know what he is, but he does it very well because these people keep giving him jobs, right? He must talk real good. Must be the pencil in the ear. Must be. I think you put the pencil in the ear, it makes it seem like you can do something.
Hat backwards.
Get hat backwards. Yeah. So he must be a locker room guy, but just don't know how to put the X and the O's execution on the field right. So I don't see them being this miraculous turnaround defensively. As up and down as Baker is, because he's up and down quarterback in the same game. He's up and down quarterback in the same game. We see flashes of brilliance from Baker, and we'll see just what are you thinking about Baker, right? But then you got Jalen Hurts who's not healthy, and the defense for Tampa Bay has been coming on of late. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing. The run game has not been established. So, yeah, give me the points. Because I don't, like you said, any other time I'd have been, it's an easy game. Philly blow them out. Going Tampa, blow them out. Blow them out. I don't even know how 3.5. Oh, you give him 3.5? Oh, shoot. Give me that and more. Right? I'm just not confident with it.
I think it's just 3 right now. It may be 3.5 come game time.
Like you said, for Raiders, I would love to see Philly go play Dallas. I think it'd be greater Raiders than the Bucks. Because the Bucks go players, man, we're going to blow them out. Bucks go play Dallas in Dallas. We're blowing them out.
Oh, yeah.
Straight up. Ain't no question about it, bro.
I agree. Blowing them out. And Mayfield's got a bummed ankle. He twisted his ankle in the last game.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I mean, if you can get at him, it's not like Tampa's a dominant team, so they can lose to Philly. Okay. Oh, yeah. So it's not like they're just going to go in there and down. I don't see that either. I just think that it was one of them crazy games, man.
I'm just playing the number. I'm not even saying Tampa's going to win outright. I'm just playing a number. They're getting 3 and they're at home.
Yeah.
Philly looks
basically saying you're equal. They're basically saying you're equal. You get 3 at home. You know what I mean?
No, but they're the underdog. They are a 3-point underdog.
Okay. So Philly, I can see Philly winning the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to see them win.
I still think they're a better team. You know what I mean? Even with
they got more dogs. I mean, they got a lot of guys that were in the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, they definitely do. So you still got that pride, and maybe that Giants game was the low of the low. You come beat up on Tampa Bay, get you some breath, and you never know. It could be a Philly special type thing when they did that one year when they just went on a run. Philly's known for doing that. Underdog, remember? They run around with underdog mask on and all that stuff. So, I never count Philly out. They one of them teams that you can't really count out. You know what I mean? And they've been proven in the playoffs. With Tampa Bay, is not really proven. I mean, they won a chip with, but you got to think of the team. They had Tom Brady. Come on now.
Tom Brady.
That's Tom Brady.
The head coach.
Come on.
Bruce Arians.
Yeah, exactly. They had a team primed to win. So it's a whole different situation. Tom Bowles is not Bruce Arians. You know what I mean?
Correct.
You want a chicken limp lump division, if the Saints just didn't have a falter and wasn't inconsistent, they would have won. So I wasn't totally convinced. But yeah, man, I'm gonna stick by my guns with Tampa Bay for the points. And I think that's our wrap for our show, man. Man.
Yeah, there's just 2 more things. I think right now that the talk is Dan Quinn is the favorite in the clubhouse to go to Seattle.
Okay. He was out there. Yeah, that's good.
And
he deserves it.
Do you think let's just assume that Pete Carroll isn't a head coach again for the NFL? He's in his early 70s. He might just be too old to get hired as a head coach. Right now, do you consider Pete Carroll a Hall of Fame head coach? Now you can't count what he did in college. So winning the championships,
Can't count college.
That doesn't translate. It's the Football Hall of Fame is professional, not college. So the USC stuff is out. You got to keep in mind, even though this isn't an official firing, we know what it is. So it's an unofficial firing, which means he's been fired 3 times.
Hall of Fame? Nah. I can't get him that, bro. I know he got a championship. Yeah, I know he got a championship, but I can't give you Hall of Fame.
There are a lot of guys that have won Super Bowls with
and then make the Hall of Fame. Yeah, the gold jacket? Nah, heck nah. His resume don't add up. Not that. I mean, I think he built a culture in Seattle for sure, but not gold jacket worthy. No.
I agree. It seems to be a popular thing to say. I heard a lot today. Future Hall of Famer. I'm like, really? Because he got fired after 1 year with the Jets.
With the Jets.
He got fired after 2 or 3 years with New England.
Yep.
Because he was the guy before Belichick.
Yeah, before Belichick. Yep.
And he got fired.
You found success in college, and then you came back and you got success in Seattle.
Two Super Bowls.
Yep.
He won one, lost the other one. Yep. Listen, I don't put him in before Coughlin, and Coughlin won 2.
You definitely don't. And then he had he had a long legacy at Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? He had put a resume together.
Tom Coughlin, Giants.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tom Coughlin. My fault, Tom Coughlin. I'm thinking about Bill Cowher. Bill Cowher.
Coughlin won 2 with the Giants, beating New England, and New England had that Super Bowl.
And we was down in Jacksonville.
And he was good in Jacksonville.
He was. So I would definitely pick Coughlin in there, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because I think his resume stacked better. You know, he took a franchise that was, because he was there when they first got there, when Jacksonville first got the franchise. And he built a great program down there, man. He did, you know. And Mark Brunell, you know. Yeah, Mark Brunell's down there.
Yeah.
And then he went to Giants and won 2 chips against the New England. He's a New England killer. So and heck yeah. And he still ain't getting yet. You know what I mean? So Pete Carroll? Nah. Not first team, not third, not 5th, 20th. I don't care what ballots you put out there. Nah.
There are just some guys that were good and win a lot, and it's not an insult to say I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
Right.
Because when you say Pete Carroll, you're going to think winner in college, winner in the pros.
Right.
That's what I think. And me saying, you know, winner after, and considering he was a loser, you know, when his first couple of tries at it, the fact that now I consider him a winner, that's what you should think of. Right. Don't focus on me saying, well, I don't think he's a Hall of Fame. I don't think he's the best of the best.
No.
I don't think he's a Bill Walsh. I don't think he's a Chuck Noll or anything like that. Look how long Jimmy Johnson had to wait.
You're right. So when you say
look how long
you say Hall of Fame, right? When you say Hall of Fame to me is game changers. They have changed how football is seen. You know what I mean? Seriously, everybody that donned that gold jacket that hit that hall, and I've been to the Hall of Fame. It's a beautiful experience for anybody who loves football.
I went.
You know what I'm talking about.
I went right after Troy Aikman, the class that Troy Aikman was in 2006, with John Madden and Warren Moon.
So
I went to that one.
So you know when you walked that hall, and you felt that energy, and you see that greatness, and you understood that these were game changers.
These
football game changers, the best of the best. I can't put Pete Carroll in that category to say you're the best of the best. So for me, that doesn't meet my criteria for gold jacket. No. No knock to his career though. It's not definitely
No
like
knock.
you said. There's no
No
knock.
knock.
No shame. I don't
It's
want
not a
America to
knock.
think that we bashing him. It's just the fact that you're talking about Hall of Fame. It's a different level.
Mhm.
It's a
Yes,
different level.
that's the highest level.
Yes, sir.
Pete Carroll, very good. As soon as you say, what do you think of Pete Carroll? Very good coach.
Very good coach.
He's a winner.
Yep.
Where's the negativity in that? There's no negativity in that.
Nah.
But I can't put him Hall of Fame.
Oh,
when you're Hall of Fame,
nah.
you are comparable to everybody else.
Yeah.
There really isn't a gap. You know, this is
Now,
what I used to do with people when I would say like quarterbacks, like Hall of Fame. I would just start rattling them off with somebody and you just give me yes or no. Yes or no. Okay. John Elway. Yes or no?
Of course, yes.
Troy Aikman, yes or no?
Yes.
Roger Staubach, yes or no?
Yes.
Joe Montana, yes or no?
Definitely.
Donovan McNabb, yes or no?
No.
Bingo. Bingo.
No.
Bingo.
No.
Not an insult to say he's not a Hall of Famer.
Nah.
When I think of Donovan McNabb, I think of good quarterback.
Good quarterback.
He had some bad games, but I think of him as a good quarterback.
Good quarterback.
But I just named you Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame.
Tom Brady?
Yeah, they're all comparable. They're not exactly equal. You'll put Tom Brady over Warren Moon, right? You'll put Joe Montana over Dan Marino. Just, championship-wise, winning-wise. You put him a little over, but they're comparable. They may not 100% equal, but they're comparable. Pete Carroll is not comparable to Vince Lombardi.
No.
That's the standard.
That's the standard.
Bill Belichick is. Andy Reid.
Oh, yeah, Belichick. Oh, yeah, Andy Reid, for sure. For sure.
But you can't give me a guy that the second half of his coaching career started winning and got a Super Bowl. And now, he's Hall of Fame. He's got a Super Bowl. No, he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I think he'll take that.
Mm-hmm.
No one's going to take that away from him. Super Bowl and national championship in college.
Facts.
And first thing that comes to mind is good coach, winner.
Yeah.
Bro.
All day long. I give you
You're
that.
fine. You're fine.
You're fine. You're good.
You're going to be okay.
You're good. But like you say, Andy Reid, the Belichick's, it's just
those are future Hall of Famers.
They changed the game.
Yeah.
They changed the game. Like,
I'm not even sure Tomlin is a Hall of Famer, and I will put Tomlin ahead of
Pete Carroll. Yeah. But like you said,
1-1.
Yeah.
But never had a losing season.
Never had a
17 years in Pittsburgh now.
Never had a
losing season.
Good resume builder for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Got the chip. He got the
chip. He's not old, so he's got another run in him.
Yeah.
He's got another run in him.
I'm just saying. Good point there, brother.
All right, man. So with that being said, that is our coach. I want to thank everybody, coach. That is our show. We talked so much about the coaches today that's really what's on my mind between the vacancies, coming and goings. I hope Jim Harbaugh does come back to the NFL.
I do too.
Really hope he does. Just don't go to a team that I got to play a lot. Don't come to my division, please. And I would prefer AFC over NFC.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be pretty cool to see him in Washington, though. I got to say that'd be pretty cool. But anyway, thank you everyone for tuning in to the What's Good with Gil and Larry podcast. Hopefully the games are good this weekend. And if Philadelphia and Dallas wins, well, we might have a great show next week. Great show. So from my main man, Larry Loper, I'm Gilly Rosari. Deuces, y'all.
Peace.
My man.
100 grand.